Dreams are the psychological phenomena. Dreams are the expression of our unfulfilled wishes. Of course, we are talking about the psychoanalysis. A warm hello to all dear learners. You are with AJ. Welcome to our English channel. Today, we are going to discuss about the psychoanalysis and its key thinkers and their concepts. Here, we will focus on Sigmund Freud, Arthur Fry, of course, Carl Jung, and Jacques Lacan. We will also focus on their key themes and their concepts. So let's go ahead.
Psychoanalysis is a personality-based literary theory which flourished in 1900 after the work of Sigmund Freud, the interpretation of dream. Of course, Sigmund Freud, who is known as the father of psychoanalytical criticism, friends, in 1910 established an association named International Psychoanalytical Association. The president of this association was made to Carl Jung on the recommendation of Sigmund Freud. When we go into deep of this psychoanalytical theory, so we come to know that it is a form of literary theory and criticism. It became popular, of course, in 1920s. It employs the technique of psychoanalysis to interpret the literary text. Its origin can be found from the Austrian psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud. He used the term psychoanalysis to describe his method of mental therapy. Freud's The Interpretation of Dream came in 1900, became a landmark for the school of critics. Of course, key theme. Psychoanalysis is the study of human mind, especially of the unconscious. Freud and other psychoanalysts consider that the unconscious mind is the storehouse of desires, fears, and inner conflicts. He further states that the unconscious mind is very powerful and plays an important role shaping our personality and controlling our actions. When we talk further the concept of Sigmund Freud as a relevant to literary criticism, it's an essay written by Sigmund Freud holds the views of Freud which can be read under many heads like dream sexuality, art and civilization, of course, id, ego and superego. He gives the three levels of personality, of course, id, ego and superego. Id is also known as unconscious mind or unconscious stage, where the personality of a newly born child is all id, and later it develops an ego and superego. So friends, the newly born child has this stage in the beginning. It is fantasy oriented. The next one is ego. Ego is also known as consciousness. After the stage of it, we develop the consciousness, or we get this stage, we became conscious to take the things around us. It is the part of id and it develops by the experience and external world. There is no concept of right and wrong in this stage. We do not develop the concept of right and wrong, but we get the things, or this stage is developed through the experience and external world. The next one is superego. It is also known as conscience. In this stage, we develop the values, morality, which is learned by parents and society. And superego This stage also has can be divided into three parts like conscience, ego idol, and idol self. When we talk about Freud's main concern, so dream analysis, Oedipus complex, libido, these are main concern of Sigmund Freud. Going towards the historical viewpoint or historical context of dream analysis, what the legends has given his their views. Egyptian believed says that dreams were predictive. Dreams were predictive and held heavenly meaning. They say that dreams are foretelling our futures, or they tell about the upcoming incidents. Whatever we dream, these are the indications of future upcomings. Aristotle interpreted that the dream analysis or dreams are the psychological phenomena and viewed them as the life of one's soul while asleep. In the mid of the 19th century, the first scientifically based dream research took place, but it was not until Freud published The Interpretation of Dream in 1900 that the dream analysis widely developed. After the work of Freud's The Interpretation of Dream, the dream analysis, the concept of dream analysis widely developed. It originally published in German under the title of Die Traumdeutung in 1900, later translated into English and Russian in 1913, and 6 more languages by 1938. 7 more editions were published during his lifetime. Freud opens The Interpretation of Dream with the following words. It is very important to note down this quotation, because it is the beginning, or it is the beginning line of this book, where he says that in the pages that follow, I shall bring forward proof that there is a psychological technique which makes it possible to interpret dreams. He says that in the pages that follow means in the pages of this work, in the pages of the interpretation of dream, he is going to give us proof that there is a psychological technique which makes it clear that after reading this book, after going through the interpretation of dream, we can be known, or we can connect the dreams, or we can easily interpret the dreams, and that if that procedure is employed, every dream reveals itself as a psychical structure which has a meaning and which can be inserted at an assignable point. So he clearly mentioned here that after going through this book, we can easily connect or interpret our dreams. Further, he says that or he, by his own experience and that of his patients, he concludes that dreams are almost always expression of unfulfilled wishes. Whatever we dream, whatever we have in our dreams, we have our unfulfilled wishes, our incomplete wishes we have in our dreams. Freud states that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. He says that dreams are the way to get the stage of unconscious. So he says here the royal road. Dreams performs an important function for the unconscious mind and serve as a valuable clues to how unconscious mind operates. Of course, dreams are the royal roads and it functions a very important part. It plays a very important function for the unconscious mind and gives us clues that how unconscious mind operates. According to him, there are two contents of dream: latent and manifest content. What is latent content? Hidden, symbolic, unconscious motives, wishes, and fears. These are the latent content, and manifest contents are like the real dream as it appears to the client. The real dreams which appear to the client is called manifest content. And how dream works: the process of converting latent content into manifest content. It is a dream work. Now another concept is Oedipus complex. It's also a very important concept given by Freud. A boy's feeling of desire for his mother and jealousy and anger towards his father. So the desire of one's mother and jealousy to one's father developed the Oedipus complex. Freud puts the Oedipal stage as occurring between 3 to 5 years. When we go into deep, or when we take the historical account of Oedipus complex, so we will understand that in the Greek play, the name of the play is Oedipus the Rex, written by Sophocles. In this play, Laius, the king of Thebes, is told by an oracle that he would be killed by his son. So he leaves Oedipus out of the mountainside to die. Oedipus is rescued by a shepherd and taken to the king of Corinth, who raises him as a son. Later what happens that Oedipus in turn is told by the Delphic oracle that he will kill his father and marry to his mother. Horrified this, he flees Corinth. At a crossroads he meets Laius. He quarrels with him and kills him. At Thebes, he correctly answers the Sphinx questions and hence wins the hand of Jocasta. Jocasta, who is his real mother, with whom he had 2 sons and 2 daughters. When at last the truth comes out, Jocasta hangs herself, and when Oedipus comes to know about this truth, so finding her, blinds himself with golden bronze. Opposite of Oedipus complex is the Electra complex. Of course, the Electra complex is the attraction of a girl to her father and rivalry with her mother, and it has also its historical facts. Electra was the daughter of Agamemnon, who helped to plan the murder of her mother. So this was historical facts, and opposite of Oedipus complex is Electra complex. It's very important. Now another concept given by Freud is libido. Libido is all about the energy drive of sexual desire. There are 5 stages, or we can say 5 kinds, like first oral, the anal, the third one phallic, latency, or genital. In the first stage, oral, it is the first phase. Incorporate the object into the body, means this stage incorporate in the body from the birth to 18 months. We get another stage, the anal. In this stage we recognize recognition an erotogenic zone developed in 18 to 36 months. The third stage, phallic, it is the third phase. The pleasure zone around the genitals developed in this stage from 3 to 5 years. The fourth, latency, the fourth phase 5 to 11 or 13 years developed. And the fifth, genitals, it is developed in 11 to 13 years. So this concept is also given by Sigmund Freud, often asked in exams. So moving towards the next one, of course, Carl Jung, the great supporter of Freud, who developed the concept of Freud. He is also the member of Vienna Psychoanalytical Society. It is also known as Wednesday Psychological Society. So this is very important to note down that he was the member of Vienna Psychoanalytical Society, and this society is also known as Wednesday Psychological Society. He criticized the Freud's Oedipus complex and supported his concepts of person's past childhood experience determine the future behavior. So this one, he supported the concept of past childhood experience which determine the future behavior of a person. It's also known for archetype or archetypal images. Remember, archetypal images or archetypal criticism of patterns in poetry are different. So here he is known as he is known for this concept, archetypes or archetypal images. Archetype images and thoughts have universal meaning. Means the images of archetypes or thought have universal meaning that may show up in dreams, literature, art, and religion. He also says that humankind has a collective consciousness. This concept is also very famous. Collective consciousness, a kind of universal psyche. It is a kind of a universal psyche. Here a note is given. Archetypal criticism, of course I was talking. Archetypal criticism or archetypal patterns in poetry came in 1934, given by Maud Bodkin. This is the work by Maud Bodkin. He gave archetypal criticism or patterns in poetry. Remember it. Now the four types of archetypal images given by Carl Jung: the persona, anima, animus, the shadow, the self. The first one, the persona. The persona means, it is also called mask. Mask means outer face. The face for public, the face for world. Okay. It is also known as a conformity archetype. It is like public face. I was talking mask. Mask means public face. Public face or role of a person present to other. This image or outward face we present to other. This one. And the next images, he talks about the images, four types of archetypal images which a person has, consist of, like anima or animus. This is the mirror image of our biological sex, that is unconscious feminine side in males. Unconscious, note it down, unconscious feminine side in males, and the masculine tendencies in women. This is one. The third one, the shadow. The shadow, same as Freud's id. So it is same like the Freud's concept id, animal side of our personality. Animal side of our personality, it is a source of both our creative and destructive energies. The fourth one is the self. It provides sense of unity in experience. For Jung, the ultimate of every individual is to achieve a state of selfhood. So the ultimate aim of every individual is to achieve a state of selfhood, which we get in this stage. For it, he also wrote a book titled as The Undiscovered Self. So it is also often asked in exams. Of course, Jacques Lacan. It is Lacan, but it is pronounced Jacques Lacan. He developed Freud's work on the unconscious and sexuality, and continues the early psychological concern with social and personal questioning of self and society. So he also further developed the concept of Sigmund Freud, and he said that return to Freud. Whatever the concept were given by Freud, he said that return to Freud. And he is also known for his concept mirror stage. He is known for this concept mirror stage. It is often asked in exams. It's very important. And of course, Northrop Frye. Northrop Frye is also one of the great psychoanalysts. He gave the concept of garrison mentality, often asked in exams like UGC NET, SET, in other competitive exams. So garrison mentality is given by Northrop Frye. He divided literary forms into 4 seasons. These 4 seasons and 4 literary forms are the most important part, most importantly given by Frye. He says that summer, he divided summer, compares summer to romance like the birth of the hero. Next season, autumn, he says autumn to tragedy like a movement towards death or defeat of the hero. The next one, winter he compares to irony or satire. These are like the hero is absent in this stage, or in this time the hero is absent. He compared to this season, winter, with irony or satire. The next one, the fourth, is spring he compares to comedy, the rebirth of the hero. He says comedy to the rebirth of the hero. Now, how psychoanalysis informs philosophical analysis. Like how psychoanalysis informs philosophical analysis is extensively given by Michel Foucault and Jacques Derrida. We call Jacques Derrida. That is all, friends. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Thanks a lot.